It took a lot of negotiating. We had to go through FOI, but evidently they finally have copies of my mugshots available. Can you imagine? For privacy reasons, they didn't want to give out those mugshots, but I'm the guy that was the person that they were mug shooting, if that's a word. The wanted for journalism t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts have arrived. It's not my best picture, folks. David Menzies for Rebel News here in downtown Toronto, right outside police headquarters. And folks, what can I tell you? We are here to do a victory lap. And I mean, literally, we've got our gorgeous video truck right behind me, and the truck is doing circles around a police headquarters. What's the occasion? Well, it's celebration. Just about an hour and a bit ago, I had my second case that the Toronto Police Service arrested me for. That was for trespassing, if you can imagine, literally in the town square in Nathan Phillips Square on April 7th, when there was the 6-month vigil for the massacre in Israel. More than 2,000 people in the square. Pierre Poilievre himself was there. But there was a counter demonstration being staged by the Hitler Youth Movement. And even though they assaulted myself and my cameraman Efren, and yes, it's caught on video, the police, specifically Officer Chang, badge number 7724, arrested me with trespass. Can you imagine? Literally in the town square, practicing journalism, the victim of an assault, chance of genocide by the pro-Hamas crowd, and for some reason I was trespassed. Well, it was an outrageous charge. The month previous, in March, just outside the King Edward Hotel, again I was arrested practicing journalism on a sidewalk, and the reason? Obstruct police. The pro-Hamas people were there, literally blocking roads that night, inconveniencing motorists, pedestrians, you name it. Nothing to see here, folks, but somebody that might potentially ask an insensitive question. You're being taken away in handcuffs in a paddy wagon. This is Banana Republic garbage. Actually, I shouldn't say Banana Republic. We can't grow bananas in Canada. How about Maple Syrup Republic garbage? So I thought, since we're in the neighborhood, why not drop by police headquarters? Because, you know, Rebel News, we're all about getting the other side of the story. And let's extend the invitation to somebody with media relations to come out and talk to us. How about the chief himself, Chief Demkiw? Maybe he can explain, I don't know, what was said in that meeting he had with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau months ago, especially since the chief is not answerable to the Prime Minister. What went down there? In fact, is the chief getting his marching orders from Prime Minister Trudeau in terms of who to charge and who not to charge? It looks that way to me. But again, I don't have the answers to that, so why don't we go into police headquarters and, get a load of this. In the Department of Two for the price of one, it took a lot of negotiating. We had to go through FOI, but evidently they finally have copies of my mugshots available. Can you imagine? For privacy reasons, they didn't want to give out those mugshots, but I'm the guy that was the person that they were mug shooting, if that's a word. Unbelievable. Evidently, those are ready for pickup too. Maybe we'll make that into some merchandise. How about that? And speaking of which, maybe the slogan on that merchandise will be standwithdavid.com. That's standwithdavid.com. You know, if you can help us out, folks, we are now going on offense. The police have charged us. We've had both charges dismissed because there was no reasonable prospect of a conviction. And now we're going to sue them. We are going to sue them for infringing our rights. We're going to sue them for assault. And it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of money. So if you can go to standwithdavid.com and kindly make a donation, that would be most appreciated. Thank you. Please go to the rebelnewsstore.com. That's rebelnewsstore.com. And if you support me, and if you support my company and all the wonderful people in it, like Alexa Lavoie and Sheila Gunn Reid and Drea Humphrey, and of course the big boss man himself, Ezreal event. If you buy one of those shirts or hoodies or sweatshirts, it helps us with our legal fees. And hey, you're literally wearing your politics on your sleeves. You're showing support for Rebel News. Well, there you have it, folks. For starters, we were told before we went through security, no filming inside police headquarters, and naturally we obeyed that mandate. I certainly don't want to break any rule because, as we've seen in these last few months, you don't have to break any rules or laws to get arrested, so we complied, so we don't have any interaction. Secondly, nobody was available to come on camera, be it media relations or the chief himself. I can't say I blame them. I mean, really, how do you defend the indefensible? How do you turn a blind eye for calls for genocide and then arrest violently those members of the media you do not like? It is egregious and outrageous. And finally, after months of trying, I got a copy of my mugshot. It's not the one I wanted, but from the March arrest, but it's the April arrest. Here you go, folks. I know what you're thinking. How much do I charge to haunt a house? I mean, yeah, I do kind of look like Frankenstein there, but maybe, doesn't this speak volumes? It's that you're like an enemy of the state, aren't you? You are conveying a narrative that goes against, oh, I don't know, how the Justin Trudeau liberals want you to think, and therefore you will be incarcerated. And by the way, this is part of the punishment, isn't it? It's not just being given a ticket. It's being arrested, it's being handcuffed, it's being tossed in a paddy wagon, it's being staying in a cell for more than 5 hours, awaiting your release. And of course, mugshots and fingerprints. It is a Cersei walk of shame for fans of Game of Thrones. It is just this process of utter humiliation. And I would argue a lot of people would be traumatized by this. And I'm talking about not criminals, but law-abiding citizens going through this kind of rubbish just for, I don't know, committing a thought crime. Well, now we go on offense. We will be suing the Toronto Police Service for the incidents of March and April. You cannot get handsy with people who are not criminals. You cannot abridge our constitutional rights and freedoms. So, Chief Demkiw, if you're listening, see you in court in the months ahead. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. The Wanted for Journalism t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts have arrived. It's not my best picture, folks. Well, folks, as I said, we are now going on offense. We are suing the Toronto Police Service for abridging our charter rights and freedoms. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of money. That's why we need your help. Please, if you can, go to standwithdavid.com. That's standwithdavid.com. and kindly make a donation.